Have you ever wondered why being alone brings you a sense of peace? While for so many others, solitude is synonymous with suffering. Have you ever felt out of place for not craving the constant company of others, for preferring the quiet of your own thoughts over the noise of a crowded room? From an early age, we are taught that a person's worth is measured by their charisma, their ability to be the life of the party. But what if I told you that this is just a story society tells, a story that may have nothing to do with your truth? What if your longing for silence, your comfort in solitude, is not a flaw but a sign of psychological maturity? Today, we're going to challenge the narrative that being alone is a problem to be fixed. Instead, we'll explore the deep psychology of those who prefer solitude, and why this path may be one of the most profound journeys you can take. We live in a world obsessed with connection, performance, and visibility. Social media, endless meetings, the glorification of networking. Everything pushes us outward, away from ourselves. In this culture, being introspective is often equated with being antisocial. Enjoying your own company is seen as a weakness, a sign of emotional deficiency, or even a symptom of illness. But Carl Gustav Jung, one of the most influential thinkers in psychology, saw things differently. He observed that Western society harbors a deep prejudice against introversion and solitude. Jung made a crucial distinction that most people overlook: the difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is a painful emptiness, a longing for connection that isn't met. Solitude, on the other hand, is a healing silence, a conscious choice to return inward, to reconnect with yourself. Most people don't even realize this distinction exists, and as a result, millions suffer in silence, believing there is something wrong with their natural inclinations. If you're someone who prefers to be alone, you may have felt this struggle firsthand. The more you force yourself to fit into noisy environments, the more distant you feel from your own center. Perhaps you've learned to act, to smile, to chat, to socialize, even when your soul is crying out for space, tranquility, and breath. Each time you betray your own needs for the sake of fitting in, you pay a price, a subtle exhaustion, a sense of disconnection from yourself. Society rewards extroversion, and so you may have spent years trying to mold yourself into a personality that ascend to yours. But deep down, you know that something is missing. The cost of suppressing your true nature is a chronic psychic fatigue, a weariness that seeps into your bones. You may have wondered, is there something wrong with me? Why can't I just be like everyone else? But what if the real problem is not you, but the story you've been told about what it means to be whole? Carl Jung saw introversion and the preference for solitude not as weaknesses, but as sophisticated expressions of the human soul. He believed that some people are simply not made for excessive stimulation, for the superficial noise of constant interaction. Instead, they are designed to dive deep, to contemplate, to explore the vast inner world that exists within each of us. Jung called this process individuation, the journey of becoming who you truly are, rather than who society expects you to be. Psychological self-sufficiency, he argued, is the rare ability to generate meaning and fulfillment from within, without relying on the constant stimulation of the external world. For Jung, solitude is not an escape, but a return home, a necessary space for healing, self-discovery, and transformation. It is in this internal sanctuary that you can finally hear your own voice, notice your patterns, and access the unconscious depths where true growth occurs. What society often overlooks is that people who prefer solitude possess hidden strengths that are both rare and powerful. The introvert's mind is finely attuned to nuance, able to perceive what lies beneath the surface of words and actions. In a single conversation, you might pick up on micro-expressions, subtle shifts in tone, and unspoken emotions that others miss entirely. This depth of perception is not a weakness. It is a form of emotional intelligence that operates from the inside out. Solitude is not a luxury for you. It is a biological and spiritual necessity. It is the space where you recharge, where your creativity flourishes, where your intuition becomes clear. While others may need constant validation, you have learned to find fulfillment within yourself. This is not social ineptitude. It is psychological self-sufficiency, and it is a strength that, when embraced, can transform not only your own life, but the lives of those around you. But here is the paradox. These strengths are often seen as a threat to the status quo in a culture built on distraction, consumption, and conformity. A person who is content in their own company is difficult to manipulate. They do not buy out of need. They do not seek validation through status, and they are not easily swayed by collective opinion. Jung recognized that societies are structured to keep individuals distracted and dependent because a centered, whole person is hard to control. That's why the world pathologizes solitude, turning it into a symptom to be treated rather than a sign of health. The more you cultivate your inner world, the less you need from the outside. And this is deeply unsettling to systems that rely on your dependence. The introvert who embraces their nature becomes, in a quiet way, a revolutionary. And that is why society tries so hard to convince you that your way of being is wrong. So what happens when you stop fighting your true nature and start embracing it? When you allow yourself the solitude you crave, you begin the process of individuation, the journey toward becoming your most authentic self. In T-Space, you shed the masks you worn for others, and you discover clarity that cannot be found in the noise of the crowd. You learn to sustain your own presence, to trust your intuition, to find meaning in your own experience. This is not isolation, it is liberation. The more you honor your need for solitude, the more you realize that you are not alone in your aloneness. There is a quiet community of souls who have chosen the same path, who understand that true connection begins within. And as you grow in self-knowledge, you become less susceptible to manipulation, less dependent on external approval, and more capable of living a life that is truly your own. So, what does it really mean to prefer being alone? It means you are listening to a deeper call, a call to authenticity, to self-knowledge, to inner sovereignty. In a world addicted to distraction, your ability to find peace in solitude is not a weakness, but a profound strength. It is a sign that you are awakening to a new way of being, one that is rooted in presence, clarity, and self. I invite you now to reflect, what does solitude mean in your life? Do you avoid silence, or do you seek it? Does it scare you, or does it strengthen you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read everyone. If this message resonated with you, please like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to the channel for more explorations into the depths of the mind and soul. And don't forget, the next video will take us even deeper into the mysteries of psychological growth. Keep watching. What comes next may be exactly what you need to hear. See you there.